Hello, world, and the world is watching. Welcome to the first ever episode of This Week in Wrestling. I am ZJHBK, your host, and today I'm going to be reviewing what happened this week on Raw, Impact Wrestling, and for the first time ever, SmackDown. So let's get things cracking. First, I'm going to talk about what happened on Raw this week. Um, regular Raw, regular anything. So we kicked off with the CM Punk and Big Show segment. CM Punk talking about how he surpassed Daniel Bryan at Money in the Bank with this whole AJ Lee thing, and how 1 year ago he walked out on the WWE and held it hostage, which is true. My, what a year. What a year. It's funny how the year's gone by, huh? So, with that being said, we move right into the first match of the night, which was indeed Titus O'Neil and Darren Young versus Kofi Kingston and R-Truth, which was for the WWE Tag Team titles. I don't know why they put the Tag Team titles on the card, but I guess, I don't know, since it was the last 2-hour edition of Raw, I guess, man, whatever that is. Match was decent for what it was. Finish came where A double kind of cost all primetime players the match when he distracted the referee, causing Kofi Kingston to hit Trouble in Paradise, R-Truth to hit the little Jimmy. So it led to the 1-2-3, and that's all she wrote. So I guess now we don't have a tag team title match for SummerSlam. I guess. I don't know. I just thought they would at least save the tag team title match for SummerSlam or the 1000th episode of Raw. That's what I thought. But yeah. So with that being said, we move right into the backstage segment with AJ Lee and Daniel freaking Bryan. Daniel Bryan. You know what? AJ Lee and Daniel Bryan kind of freaking. AJ Lee and Daniel Bryan. What to say about that? The little relationship thing is way, way, way too much. And I just don't know. He was talking about how he loves AJ Lee and he's sorry for the way he treated him. He just wanted to get to the top and all that type of stuff. Then Eve comes up in her usual bitchy, gimmicky self, which is great, and says, because of you, we're going to have ourselves a men's tag team match tonight, which will be you and AJ versus me and a partner of my choosing, who I'll get to in a second. And Payback is what you are, AJ. Damn, Eve. Damn. That hurt. That really did hurt. So then we go to Zack Ryder versus Alberto Del Rio. And it's funny how, like I said, it's funny how a year goes by, right? It's funny that Zack Ryder was barely put on TV. So now he gets put on TV. He jobs out to Alberto Del Rio. So with that being said, Alberto Del Rio. So with that being said, Del Rio beats the shit out of Zack Ryder, and out comes Rey Mysterio. Yes, the return of Mysterio last Monday on Raw, which was pretty good. That means the main event scene or the upper mid card scene or whatever kind of scene you want to call it is going to be amped up, which is a good thing. Maybe Rey is going to go to Smack. I think Rey is going to go to SmackDown. Is going to go to SmackDown, and it's going to be great to see Rey Mysterio back. Great to see Ray back. So now we go to my opinion, the highlight of the night, next to Rey Mysterio coming back, is Heath Slater. Heath Slater's been a lot of highlight of the nights this whole week on Raw. So this week he faced off against the returning Rikishi, which was awesome. We got to see the stink face. We got to see the Samoan Spike. That was for you, Umaga. And we got to see the epic dance, which was the Usos and Rikishi. There's his sons dancing along with them, which was awesome. It was very, very awesome. I'm glad Raw let them share that moment with each other. It was very good. I like this. I really like that. So then we get to the Eve Torres and The Miz versus AJ and Bryan match, and wow, what happened after the match was very, very eventful. You can say that. Eve Torres kind of lost, jobbed out to AJ again, which she would always do. She should always do that. Let's see what happened. And then afterwards, I guess Bryan proposed to her. So now we're going to have, I guess, a wedding between AJ Lee and Daniel Bryan. This 1000th episode of Raw? Wow. Just wow. I don't know what to say. Daniel Bryan's being used like a real pimp. That's all I got to say about that. So with this being said, we go into Mr. Feed Me More. Feed Me More. Feed Me More. Ryback. Talking about Ryback versus Jack Swagger, a match that never really got started. But anyway, so Ryback beats the shit out of Jack Swagger. Jack Swagger got a little bit of offense and whatnot. And then we go into an interesting segment with Mr. SmackDown's buddy of the Bay, Dolph Ziggler. Oh, Dolph Ziggler. Dolph Ziggler. Dolph Ziggler coming out talking about how he is going to be the next World Heavyweight Champion. Then all of a sudden, out comes Mr. Y2J Chris Jericho to save us from a Dolph Ziggler segment. You internet fans are not gonna like this. You're not gonna like this. But yeah, Dolph Ziggler ended up having a little confrontation with Jericho, talking about how when's the last time he's won a big match. And to be honest with you, Dolph Ziggler's kind of right. When is the last time Chris Jericho ever won a big match on a big stage? So, but Chris Jericho proved how awesome he is and gave Dolph Ziggler a code breaker for his troubles. So with that being said, yeah. A Chris Jericho and Dolph Ziggler feud will ensue, which I am so looking forward to. So stay tuned. You might like it. So then we go into Brodus Clay versus JTG. Brodus Clay versus JTG. Brodus, of course, gets the win after JTG stupidly mocks the Funkasaurus. Once again, somebody needs to baby those two little girls up. Not little. Somebody needs to baby those bitches up. Cameron and Naomi, I'm right here. I'm right here, baby. I'm right here. So then we get to the main event of the evening, which was, of course, CM Punk and Big Show. They hyped this all night. Match was pretty good. CM Punk and Big Show got out a good main event TV match on Raw. This is pretty good. And the finish came with Big Show trying to be a big, bad, badass and punched the shit out of CM Punk in the ribs and shit like that. So that also led to Mr. Money in the Bank, John Cena, coming out and announced that he will cash in Money in the Bank on the 1000th episode of Raw. Okay. So, John Cena will face CM Punk on the 1000th episode of Raw. that could be a good thing because think about it like this: it could have been worse that we could have got a repeat of last year's SummerSlam with John Cena versus CM Punk, except minus God. Oh wait, God's gonna be at SummerSlam too, is he? Damn. Well, Raw this week, to finish off my review, Raw this week was meh, way better than last week's. Certainly not better than the Raw after WrestleMania by far. I know one thing, and I know you guys are probably saying the same thing. I know one thing. After all this crap they trotted out week after week on Raw, the 1000th episode better be good, or I'm going to be very, 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 very upset with WWE. Very, very. Hey guys, I'm back. So now we go from Raw immediately to Impact Wrestling this week. And I gotta say, aces and eights. That's all I gotta say. Tonight was the return, last Thursday was the return of Open Fight Night on TNA Impact Wrestling. The first call out for the Bound for Glory series was James Storm versus Kurt Angle, or supposed to be James Storm versus Kurt Angle. James Storm called out Kurt Angle, and before Kurt can even come out, he was being attacked by freaking the 8s and 8s gang and all that aces and eights crap and all that type of shit, Nick. My first thoughts, let me say this. The aces and eights, TNA is taking their time with this, which they should. TNA is taking their sweet little time with this, which they should. But all I gotta say is this. If, for some strange reason, the aces and eights happen to evolve in a certain guitar wielding, gold hair playing guy, then some people are not going to be happy. Like me, I'm not going to be very pleased with that because, let's just say it like this. I'm just saying it doesn't need to be who I think it's going to be. So with Kurt Angle out, the next Open Fight Night match was the next call out, should I say, Samoa Joe versus the Pope, D'Angelo De Niro. Match was physical. Joe got a mean ass punch in the jaw. But in the end, Samoa Joe got his little 10 points when he made the Pope tap out, which was alright in itself. Pretty good in itself. And then we got earlier segment where Robert Roode talks about how he's gonna call out the greatest man that ever lived, Austin Aries, and he's gonna tell him that his win is a fluke and whatnot. So, with that being said, I like how Robert Roode's reacting towards Austin Aries being world champion because it's like, he should have never won. It was a freaking fluke from the beginning. I should still be world champion. And technically, gotta agree. I mean, look at this. Robert Roode was the longest reigning world champion in TNA history. Just to lose it like that, I would be kind of mad too. So, anyway, with that being said, the next Bound for Glory series call out was Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy calls out. He didn't call out. Somebody actually came out, and it was Robbie E. And Robbie E., who hasn't been on the scoreboard for a long time, can now thank Big Robbie T because now he's finally on the scoreboard. Dang. Thank you, Robbie T, for giving Robbie E 5 points. I thought Robbie E was gonna have to freak out of this thing, but I guess I don't know why, but I guess. So we refocus. Now we get to the gut check. Oh wait, there was no gut check because you know why? Aces and eights, baby. Aces and eights came out and fucked that whole ordeal up. This guy was supposed to get a gut check shot. I don't know. His name is hard to pronounce. I'm sorry. It was supposed to be this guy in a gut check match this week. And that didn't exactly happen because of aces and eights. And aces and eights just ran wild this week, huh? They did. And aces and eights just ran wild this week, huh? It's crazy, really. Aces and eights. I got a bad feeling about aces and eights. So with that, after that little schmoz, the Nets call out was indeed done. Let's see. The next call out was Mr. Anderson. No. I'm sorry. Yes, Mr. Anderson calling out the phenomenal AJ Styles. And the match itself was pretty good, except that botch finish again. Another botch finish. So but what people will be talking about is after what happened. Now, this AJ Styles storyline. You had at first you thought AJ was sleeping with Dixie Carter. But then this bitch Claire comes out and says that they did not sleep together. She's I'm a drug addict, that type of stuff. So, so then we get with that, and then Daniels comes out and talks about that AJ dicked this chick up, if you will. She dicked this bitch up, if you will. So, yeah, AJ. And then this week, last week, she was talking about doing the right thing and all that type of stuff. So, yeah, this week, AJ, she got pictures. AJ, somebody's been pretty naughty. Don't you think so, AJ? Must be pretty naughty, AJ. Who knows? I know this storyline's kind of gotten personal. Somebody, but you know what? Like the Off the Rope show host Sweat Daddy did say, you can relate to this storyline. I mean, baby daddies and baby mamas go through this almost every day, so this could be a decent little storyline. Plus, gets AJ Styles on TV. 1 hour main event. Fuck the world. So anyway, we got the Nets BFG call out, which was RVD and Christopher Daniels. Typical match from RVD and Daniels. Daniels actually got the win, which surprised me. Dirty, but he got the win over the Monday Night. Well, Mr. Thursday Night, I don't care. Yeah, so Christopher Daniels is sitting in 12th place. 7th place. Wait. 6th place, yes. 6th place in the Bound for Glory series, which is pretty decent to me. I like this. I like the fact that Daniels got some points in this little you dig. So we immediately go to the last. Oh, before that, we go to the Austin Aries segment where he says, Bobby, every time we meet, I trump you in everything, dog. I'm the greatest man. You're the it factor. I'm the greatest man that ever lived. You got to roll. My cape trumps your roll, which he does. It does. And then he picked up the card, aces and eights. I'll get that. I ace that too. Get that bullshit. Like, get that crap out of my face. I say, yes, Austin. Tell it like it is. Get that bullshit out your face, son. Yeah. I'm going to like Austin Aries as champion. So, with that being said, we go into the last Battle for Glory Series call-out match. Bully Ray versus Madness. A pretty good, impressive showing by Madness. And Bully Ray had a decent match with each other. And no Abyss this week, which really surprised me. Yeah, so Bully Ray. So Bully Ray got the win and 7 points. 7 points. He's finally in the Battle for Glory Series now with a cutter, aka the Bully RKO. The Bully cutter. So Bully Ray is in. So and then we get into the open fight night, the last open fight night of tonight, I should say, between Austin Aries, the greatest man that ever lived, Austin Aries. Excuse me, I'm sorry. And the it factor of professional wrestling, Robert Roode. Good match. Not as good as the Destination X match, but for TV, it was good. And then Aces and Eights come out once again. Of course, they're going to attack Austin Aries because of what he said. Is it bad that maybe Aces and Eights may have overpowered this segment? No. Is it bad that maybe Aces and Eights probably dominated this whole entire show? Because all they could talk about was Aces and Eights this, Aces and Eights that. They beat up Kurt. Last week they beat up Hogan and Sting. This week they beat up Kurt, the gut check kid, and then they beat up Austin Aries. And then apparently Robert Roode tried to, good job, yeah, pat on the back. They beat his ass too. So, can you say Nexus? I'm not. So, but my final thoughts, Impact this week was a solid show. I thought it was good this week. So now we get into the coup de grace of this week in wrestling. And that was SmackDown. What can I say? Let's get into what happened first, of course. Rey Mysterio returns to San Diego, California, to SmackDown for the first time in over a year. Talked about how he was gone and how Alberto Del Rio put him out, and that automatically brings out Mr. Del Rio. Alberto Del Rio talked about Rey Mysterio being a little better and all that type of stuff. And then out comes Mr. Money in the Bank talking about how he's going to be the next World Heavyweight Champion. And out comes Dolph Ziggler talking about he should have been World Champion if it wasn't for Del Rio. And then Vicky Guerrero being called a barrel or whatever. I failed Spanish, I'm sorry. A barrel was my highlight of the night because it was funny. I love you, Vicky. I really do. I love you, Vicky. All the abuse she takes is just a shame, really. But let's see. So Rey Mysterio, and then Sheamus comes out when Del Rio and Dolph are gonna beat up poor Rey. So with that being said, so that sets up tonight's main event and whatnot. So we get into an 8-man tag team match between, I guess, the team of Darren Young primetime players and fucking Hunico and Camacho versus the team of Primo and Epico and the World Tag Team, the Unified Tag Team Champions of Truth, the Booming Truth. So with that, we then get it was a wild encounter, as it should be. Primetime players got the win over Primo and Epico. I don't know why they didn't get the win at Money in the Bank pay-per-view. Whatever. And then all of a sudden, Big Show comes out, beats the shit out of everybody, except the primetime players. They got the fuck out that jam, which was good. So he beats up Hunico, Camacho. He punches R-Truth. He knocks out Primo. Shit like that. So, like I said, I just don't care about Big Show anymore. Wasted opportunity, WWE. That's all I'm saying. So, yeah, with that being said, we go into the next thing, which was, we go into from Big Show's little squasharoonie, stuff like that. We go from, yeah, Big Show's little squasharoonie to the next thing, which was, yes, which was Mr. Damian Sandow, Mr. Hallelujah, versus Zack Ryder. Woo woo woo. Match didn't really get underway because Damian Sandow's that awesome, and he kind of beat the crap out of Zack Ryder, or he pinned Zack Ryder. I'm sorry. And then after that, we go into the return of the Peep Show, baby. Return of the Peep Show, and Christian's interviews, or guests, should I say, was the newlywed couple of AJ Lee and Daniel Bryan. I will say this. It's going to be a very interesting 1000th episode of Raw. With Dolph Ziggler and, I mean, not Dolph, but Daniel Bryan and AJ Lee getting married and stuff like that. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting Raw. Christian talking about leading the crowd and saying yes, yes, and then no, no, and then he said, "Oh, one of your exes want to fight." I'm thinking, "Oh shit, here comes Kane." And sure enough, it was Daniel Bryan versus Kane in a match where Daniel Bryan beat Kane. Poor Kane. Came back with the mask, and this is how you get. So this week on SmackDown, markout moment. Heath Slater was on SmackDown, and in celebration of the 1000th episode of Raw, guess who comes back? Ooh, what a rush! Road Warrior Hawk. You damn right. Sled Daddy, off the rope show, if you was watching this, you know you had to break out your mohawk. I wish you could have broke out your mohawk. But Road Warrior Animal comes back. Booms Heath Slater like he should. With the pads and the power slam and the poonage. Yeah. Poonage, baby. Poonage, poonage, poonage. Poonage, 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 poonage. Road Warrior Animal, bitch. So then we get into, the main event, which was Rey Mysterio and Sheamus versus Alberto Del Rio and Dolph Ziggler. Good tag team match, but you knew what was going to happen. Bro kick. But you knew what was going to happen. Someone was going to get bro kick. Oh, wait. No, it didn't. The match ended by disqualification, which you rarely get on SmackDown. And you kind of thought that, well, Mr. Dolph Ziggler was going to cash in Money in the Bank. But then Dolph got his face kicked off by a bro kick. Thank you, Sheamus. So what did I think about SmackDown this week? This is probably why I don't watch SmackDown as much as I used to. This meh. So yeah, this has been my week in wrestling. I reviewed Raw, Impact Wrestling, SmackDown. This has only been the first episode. So if I didn't do that good of a job, I'm sorry. But in the future episodes to come, I will try my best to do great. So, oh God, and then we got the 1000th episode. Whew. Try to cram 3 hours. Oh God. All right. I can do this. Next week, I will try to review 3 hours of Monday Night Raw on Friday, I hope. But, yeah. It's a long video. Oh, one more thing before I go. WWE, tout sucks.